Okay, as you can see, it's been a bitterly cold day again, and I'm starting this video with a shot of the berries that would have been in abundance on this path had the cutters not put paid to what was there. There are a few left on the edge of this hedge here, where the blades haven't managed to slice them off, but as you can see, as for the rest of it, everything's gone. There's an area that would have been privy to small things, hibernating, sheltering from the cold through the winter, had they been permitted to have the additional growth that this hedge should be bearing and the underbrush to go with it. Now, there would have been a time when this hedge would have been substantially thick, probably overhanging this ditch, and it would have provided a great deal of warmth or shelter from the weather at the very least, and foodstuff in its time. And this is a dead tree. There's a welcome addition to the nooks and crannies that would have been available, but as you can see, everything is now exposed to the weather. The actual devastation that's caused by this practice of thugging hedgerows doesn't just render them unsuitable for winter shelter and take off practically all the food stuff. And you can see by the small amounts of berries that I'm zoning in on here how much there would have been on this hedge alone if it had been left. So not only is it wasting foodstuff and stripping out shelter for the winter, it's contributing towards the death of substantial numbers of wildlife who have absolutely nowhere to go. We've learned of the hedgehog reaching the red list of endangered species in 2020, which is pretty alarming, really. And we've also lost 70% of dormice in the UK. And I guess you could probably hazard a guess that a lot of that loss is to do with the decimation of hedgerows. Now, here's some of that underbrush that I was talking about. A small amount of bindweed is left on this bush, but not nearly enough to provide the thick blanket against the weather that would be here if it was all left intact. So as you can see, this is quite a mature hedge. There's a lot of evidence of a root system here that is quite old. But of course, with the canopy slashed off like this, that root system doesn't draw up a great deal of the water and nourishment that it could from the ground, and that compromises the bush to some degree. If you want more information on how that happens, you can visit Hedgeline, where they have a comprehensive amount of information on hedgerow health and how it can be maintained. Well, for sure, and this isn't maintaining hedgerow health. This is thugging, and it's distressing to see the amount of hedgerow that's suffering this vandalism, for want of a better word, across the UK, and has been for probably the best part of 20 years now. and it hasn't seen any respite, certainly not in my area, in that time. And so populations have systematically crashed as a result of this practice. There's a remnant there of what was quite ancient at one point. It still is, it's still here, but it's obviously not doing very well. And there again is an area that would have provided shelter for small things had that underbrush blanket been present here. Like all other hedgerows in this state, it's completely devoid of life. There is nothing flitting in or scurrying in or out or even making a little rustle to suggest its presence, because there is no point in anything being here. It offers nothing whatsoever for any living wild thing.